Whenever we do see you, you're so bubbly and full of fun and full of the joys of life. And then I was reading all this morning and thinking, what an awful time you had at school. Has that bullying made you the person you are? Is it because of that?
I think so, because I know now to, like, never make anybody else feel that way, because it's just awful. And my dad always said that bullies are like sandpaper, like the more they wear you down, you're the one that ends up polished. And I
Nice
strongly
way to look at
believe
it.
that, because I just think it teaches you a lot, and it makes you a stronger person. And
It's easier to say that now when you've
Yes.
come through it and you're so successful now and living a wonderful life. Not so easy when you're going through it. When did it start and why did it start, do you think?
So when I was 11, so the first year of secondary school, I was in a bike accident and I smashed my front teeth. And then a couple of months later, I got Bell's palsy. So it was,
And that's where your face drooped.
So obviously, I think I was a bit of an easy target because of all these problems. And
So was it just name calling, or how did it?
It was, but it was the thing that was the worst was sort of the threats. It was always like the worry of what could happen. So like, I would get out of school 10 minutes early so that they wouldn't beat me up, because they would threaten to. And I once like went out to play sort of thing with someone who I thought was my friend, and it ended up being a bit of a trap, and there was 6 girls there, and they ended up, I ran away, and luckily this old woman, I knocked on this old woman's bungalow and she drove me home because I was
Complete
so
stranger,
scared.
you meant to have help.
Yeah, I just really want kids to be kind to each other, because it's awful. And if I can, like, because my little sister's only 11 as well, so obviously I see how things have changed compared to when I was a kid, because now obviously there's social media, so it wasn't really that much about when I was little, so at least I could escape it when I got home. But now for kids, especially because it's obviously they go home and it's still there as well.
As you say, there isn't an awareness like our Be Kind campaign, which is good, and thank you very much indeed for signing up to it. But there was this beautiful moment, which I thought was quite brave, actually, that you were out and about, you were shopping, you're in the supermarket, and this woman comes up to you and talks about what great pals you were at school. So tell us what happened.
Yeah, I can feel myself going red, because I know that some people will be like, oh, why did you do it? But so I was in Asda and I was walking around, and I seen this girl, and I hadn't seen her like in about 10 years, and all of a sudden, like, all of the feelings that I had of like fear resurfaced, and I was like, why am I still scared of her? So I was avoiding her in aisles, and then I thought, no, Scarlett, like, stop this now, like, you're better than that. So I walked up the aisle, not expecting her in a million years to speak to me, and she was like, oh, Scarlett, how are you? And I was like, I'm good, how are you? And she said, oh, my kids think I'm really cool because I'm friends with you. And as soon as she said the F word, the friend word, I just, like, I'm normally really calm, but I was like, we were never friends. I was like, why are you saying that? And she's like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, we were, like, never friends. Like, I had to move schools because of you and your, like, girl gang, because you were just awful to me. Like, how dare you say that? And I just said, I hope that your kids never meet anyone who's like you were at school.
Yeah.
And then I sort of had, like, a mic drop moment where I dropped my basket and walked out.
Brilliant.
That was very
I love
brave.
that.
Do you not think there's a certain amount of irony? She says she's the cool mum and that sort of thing, but some of the things that made you stand out from other people at school, your intelligence, your personality, that sort of thing, are actually the things that make you cool now.
No, I don't know how cool metal detecting is, but...
Is that another thing?
Yeah, like, one of them seen us do it. So, yeah, I think... And I did ballroom and Latin dancing, which, thank the Lord for
Why did you look at
Strictly.
Ruth when you said that?
Because I'm a dancer now,
Well,
obviously.
We're on the same...
We're on the same kind of dancing talk.
But at the time, it wasn't cool. It is now, thanks to Strictly, but it was, like, sort of old fogey dancing at the time. So I would come into school, 12-year-old, like, orange with my spray tan, and not a lot of the kids understood. And
What about your parents? You're very close to your parents. We all saw, you know, the closest sort of watching you all on Gogglebox, and they're very supportive of everything you do. Why didn't you tell them what was going on?
because I love them very much, I didn't want them to worry, and I almost felt embarrassed that of going home and them saying, like, how was school, and me being like, oh, well, I sat in the toilet to eat my dinner, and I didn't want my mum and dad to think that of me. But I think after a while, because I would sort of plant a seed on a Sunday that I was feeling poorly, and then I'd be like, oh, I feel really ill today. And I think then, like, my mum and dad were like, what's wrong? And I didn't tell them for like a couple of years, to be fair. I did like play it down a lot. I'd just be like, oh yeah, I'm just getting a bit of stick or whatever. And I think they would worry that I didn't have anyone to sort of play out with and things like that. But just tell somebody, because as soon as I told my mum and dad, then it was a relief, and then we could get something sorted.